Alright, so I'm going to read another poem. This is actually about my mother. It's called You Hated Him. It's about my relationship with my mother and how she kind of hates me for my blessings and certain things about my life and certain blessings that I have. She kind of looks down on me upon it, or kind of hates me for it. So I had wrote this poem about it, and this was kind of about about my mother kind of hating me for my blessings in my life, of how I am, and how I sometimes get blessed and etc. So this is called "You Hated Him" a poem by Karl Nicholas Urso. You hated him for the fact that he was torn away from home. You hated him for the fact that you lost contact with your boy and he's now full grown. You hated him for the fact that he also has needs. You hated him for the fact that he would complain about the food you were cooking and you had a mouth to feed. You hated him for the fact that in your eyes he wasn't a man of God. You hated your son for being bisexual and at times found it strange and odd. You hated him for being blessed. You hated him for putting himself first and you next. You hated him for his blessings. You hated him for his creed. You hated him and you tried to manipulate his testimony to give you and your fame of the time of need. You hated him for his material wealth. You hated him for not understanding his status in himself. You hated him so much that he couldn't be in public schools for his classes. You hated him for being the black sheep and now not following the masses. You hated him for not following yours and other authorities and kissing up to your asses. You hated him for he is full grown and for his full grown adult rights. You hated him for his truths. You hated him for the women he wanted to date, if only they had more class and youth. You hated him for the things you could not control, but oftentimes tried and could. You hated him for being himself, if only you understood. You hated him for the love in his heart. You hated him for his blessings. You hated him as he was just like his father and half siblings. You hated him in ways for being a man. You hated him in ways only a jealous mother can. You hated him for the things for your life and the shit has hit the fan. You hated him and hoped he would turn out to be a nice respected man. You hated him because you didn't teach him how to love. You hated him throughout the years and it fits like a glove. You hated him and if only you could see that to him you're still his mother, but how toxic you can be. You hated him and you're toxic. Now let him be free.